Bulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rock.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, PM says prove you're fighting climate change. Climate change increasing dengue threat. And rapist mother imprisoned.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Prime Minister and COP23 President Vorengen Bainimarama has called on delegates in Bonn, Germany to ensure there is tangible evidence that carbon emissions are being curbed. Speaking at the closing of the Climate Summit Leaders Programme, Bainimarama said it was imperative that parties walk the talk on climate action. Maggie Boyle reports.
In the throes of the final week of talks at COP23, the President's clear on what action needs to be taken.
To see you all provide evidence of your successful reduction in emissions and your contribution to your national accounting and reporting. To merge the local with the national and then the national with the global, so that you contribute to the global process and we can achieve the most ambitious goal of the Paris Agreement, the 1.5 degrees target.
Bainimarama reflective of the milestones already achieved at COP23, adding that more can be achieved.
That it is possible to make the change and arrive somewhere better. Friends, you have learned, you have lessons that you, as you leave here, to take back home and lend a hand to raise the ambition in our national climate plans.
The COP23 President reiterating the need to act now.
We need to act urgently, faster, quicker, together, in unity. That's the only way we can get things done.
Former Governor of California and the actor Arnold Schwarzenegger also weighed in on discussions, calling environmental activists to give more attention to immediate health hazards like air and water pollution. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Climate resilience has become a necessary element of development. COP23 President Vorengen Bainimarama stressed this message while addressing a side event on risk-informing development, a revolution in adapting to climate change in the Pacific. Maggie Boyle again with this story.
Making a point, the PM recounting the wrath of Cyclone Winston.
Fury, the terror, the sense of helplessness, and in the case of the families of the 44 people who died, continuing sense of loss.
The need for climate resilience, Bainimarama noted, is critical, especially for small island states.
That climate change adaptation is a development issue, not simply a scientific or environmental issue. And every development decision from now on has to be made with building climate resilience at its core.
And work is already underway in Fiji.
With support from the UNDP's Pacific Risk Resilience Program, we are bringing local communities into our national planning process. We are insisting that any new development or capital project must take into account climate risk before being given the go-ahead.
Going a step further, the PM explained that risk has also been integrated into the budget process with special measures for vulnerable communities and groups, including women. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Ministry of Health and Medical Services believes climate change is closely linked with an increase in risk of mosquito-borne diseases, especially dengue fever. Chief Health Inspector Dip Chand says we are facing unexpected weather patterns and there is a need to take proactive measures to prevent another outbreak. Kelly Vadala reports.
Dengue is a vector-borne infectious disease that spreads best in warm climates, and the Health Ministry says due to global warming, the number of mosquitoes are increasing.
These outbreaks are complemented by the weather patterns. The change of climate change and other things have been always being part and parcel of these climate-related diseases, and dengue is one of them, including chikungunya and Zika and others. The pattern of breeding has also shifted. We need to take care of our rubbish, our receptacles that can hold water and which can breed mosquitoes and other vectors of disease.
National Advisor Communicable Diseases Alicia Khan is urging Fijians to step up now and destroy all mosquito breeding places.
Dengue fever is endemic in Fiji, which means it's always here. It's up to us really to prevent outbreaks. In May was the peak of the outbreak, and that is outside our normal rainy season, which is November to April every year. So this just highlights that our climate is changing.
The reading of any vessel containers or any water containers that is in the surroundings of our home that can become a breeding site for mosquitoes.
The ministry says with the current rainy weather conditions, there is an increased risk of mosquito-borne diseases. 9 people have died from dengue fever so far this year, and over 2,600 cases have been recorded. Kelly Badala, FBC News.
A 45-year-old mother of 4 has been sentenced to 13 years imprisonment for raping and sexually assaulting her 14-year-old daughter last year. Suva High Court Judge Justice Salesi Temo told the woman she treaded where even angels fear to tread. We now join Akusita Tale, who tells us more about the court proceedings.
In the first of its kind case in the Fiji courts, Justice Temo sentenced the single mother of Nasinu to 13 years after she was found guilty of 1 count of rape and 4 years imprisonment for 1 count of sexual assault. The sentences will be served concurrently. The woman was given a non-parole period of 12 years. The woman raped and sexually assaulted her only daughter between January to July last year when her siblings weren't at home. Justice Temo told the woman the crime is a serious breach of trust as a biological mother who was supposed to look and care after her daughter as well as counsel her to become a better citizen. However, she did the unthinkable. Justice Temo says this is a serious breach of motherly trust. Justice Temo says the courts won't tolerate the abuse of children and stressed they will continue to pass harsh and longer sentences as a warning for would-be child rapists. He told the woman her act has no regard to her daughter's right as a child, her right as a human being, and no regard to her daughter's right to live a happy and peaceful life. Jackie.
Thank you, Ako. A massive landslide in Veisari, Lami this morning blocked the Queen's Road, stopping all traffic. The Fiji Roads Authority says both lanes were closed, making that section impassable. Fulton Hogan Highways had to clear the landslide. By mid-morning, 1 lane was open to traffic and they had to arrange a stop-and-go single-lane traffic management while the other lane was being cleared. The landslide extended for 60 meters long along the highway, in some places over 2 meters deep. Meanwhile, residents in Veisari, Unduya Point and Wailekutu areas outside Lami were without power, which was shut down at FRA's request as the highway clearance was underway. Motorists are advised to be cautious while traveling in current weather conditions and to drive slowly. Still to come, NGO records 20% increase in type 1 diabetes. And Miss World Fiji shines at World Pageant in China. Stay with us.
Number 2 na serre. We are the Chubuni Kurnambili. Borani Bachkara Hambara Binarna. The Taltakinal na Baronga Nambula FM. Number 2 na serre. Bula!
Bula FM, number 2 na serre.
Minister responsible for climate change, Ayaz Said Qayyum, says Fiji understands the need for more innovative solutions around managing climate risk and adapting to climate change. However, the minister says the real challenge is how quickly can the innovation of the ideas spread and be implemented for developing nations. He says Fiji has started to take the lead in implementing the innovation.
Fiji has embarked on a path under its COP23 presidency of being a leader in taking innovative action and not simply waiting for solutions that in fact may never reach Fiji. First of all, we are being innovative in our approach to infrastructure development. Following Cyclone Winston, the Fijian government has emphasized the need to build back better and to build our infrastructure not just for the short term, but to think long term.
Young Diabetes Fiji has recorded almost a 20% increase in type 1 diabetes found in children. President Shika Kumar says due to the lack of awareness of the disease, the numbers are increasing every year. Sanyani Boiler reports.
Young Diabetes Fiji is a non-governmental organization working under Diabetes Fiji to create awareness on the disease among those below the age of 30.
Be part of the group, they don't want to be known. They're scared of rejection in the public. They're trying to hide it and live with it. But I think it's a really bad thing. You know, if you're a type 1, you should let the family and colleagues know in case if you go low or if you're really high, they'll know what to do.
Type 1 diabetes is the lack of insulin in the body and has no cure. Diabetes type 1 patient Maria Tambua says Young Diabetes Fiji has helped her in every way.
And I have a distress complication. And when I met the group, it was it lightened the burden, and I can met a lot of the young one who have diabetes. Right now, I'm trying to control it and trying to live a normal life. Before, I don't have a normal life.
Young Diabetes Fiji is urging those below the age of 30 to choose a healthy lifestyle and go for regular checkups. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Miss World Fiji Nanise Rainima came third, placing her in the top 5 for talent category at the Miss World 2017 underway in Sanya, China. This is the highest ever achievement for Fiji in the Miss World competition. Rainima sang a song while playing the piano, an original piece she wrote that is dedicated to her late grandmother. Her grandmother was a cancer survivor who passed away in 2013. Rainima has also made the top 20 list for Beauty with a Purpose and is currently leading Group 12 and is first in multimedia in Oceania.
I'm thankful to God for this opportunity. There's so much I'm learning here in China. There's so many beautiful friendships have been made, lifelong relationships with these beautiful ambassadors of their countries. I am blessed, really. I would like to take this time to thank everyone who has been a part of my journey.
President Major General Chiochi Konrote today received credentials from the new Resident High Commissioner of Vanuatu, Nikinike Vurumbaravu. The High Commissioner presented credentials following a 25-member Guard of Honor at the Barn House in Suva. He has served as the Roving Ambassador, Pacific Island Forum Secretariat Deputy Secretary General, Coordinator of Vanuatu Comprehensive Reform Program with the Asian Development Bank, and Head of the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. He was accompanied by his wife. Ahead in sports with Jamie, New Zealand Sevens to improve on key areas before World Series. But up next is Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. 27 complaints referred to RBF for meditation and resolution. And in Go in Fiji, Yandua Bay plans expansion to cater for increasing demands. Stay with us.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफ्रिकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टोटो ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Leading business tonight, 37 complaints against financial institutions were referred to the Reserve Bank of Fiji for mediation and resolution in the September quarter. This is an increase of 22 complaints from the previous quarter and 23 compared to the same period last year. The complaints relate to banks and credit institutions, FNPF, insurance companies and authorized exchange dealers. In 2010, the RBF issued its supervision policy on complaints management to licensed financial institutions. The policy requires them to implement a complaints management framework that will effectively and efficiently resolve customer complaints. The RBF says 27 of this quarter's current complaints have been resolved and 10 are still being investigated. And we now join Sharon from HFC Bank with the latest from the trading world.
Thank you. There was an air of caution in the foreign exchange market today. This morning, we saw the US dollar index recover ground after recent weakness. An increase in the US Treasury bond yields provided the needed support to the US dollar. But we also saw the US release its monthly budget statement this morning. It revealed a higher deficit than expected. Meanwhile, the National Australia Bank released its business confidence survey for October today. Later in today's session, which is tomorrow for us, the central bankers will take the stage at the European Central Bank Conference in Frankfurt. You will rarely see a more powerful assembly of policymakers. In the outlook for the week, there are reports on key economic data lined up as well. So we'll wait to see how it affects the movement of major currencies. And that's all for now.
Thanks, Sean. Looking at today's current exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. The Fijian dollar rose against our two major trading partners, Australia and New Zealand, but dropped against the rest of the currencies on our chart due to the high level of activity on the foreign exchange market. As for the commodities market, oil prices were down 20 cents to close at $56.71 a barrel. Gold recovered somewhat from its dip yesterday to close at $1,277 per ounce, and silver rose slightly to close at $17.03 an ounce. And in Growing Fiji tonight, in order to cater for the growing demand in tourism, Yandua Bay, Fiji will be constructing 8 new villas to accompany 20 hotel rooms currently under construction. Eventually, there will be a total of 20 villas. The first 8 will be constructed by Audi Building Industry of Indonesia. The remaining 12 lots will be sold to private individuals who wish to build their own villas. The resort is expected to employ close to 50 staff once completed. The predicted opening date for the villa in the hotel is mid-April.
Market value of these villas will be something close to $6 million. So this is the first stage, but as you know, we have 80 individual lots there, some of which have already been bought by individual buyers, and other processes are going on.
Especially for Yandua project, it is can withstand 285 kilometers per hour for the wind load. So it will be state-of-the-art structure.
And that's business this evening. Now to sports. Here's Jamie.
Naka Rachel, and good evening in sports tonight. The latest from the Fiji Mbati camp. And Italy to miss World Cup for the first time in 60 years. Details after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेफ्रिकी से। मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन तक ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम, it's hot.
The Flying Fijians have set up camp in Dublin ahead of its test match against Ireland on Sunday. Coach John McKee happy with the return of Dominico Wanganimburotu, who has been cleared of injury. Vastil Prasad with this report.
We are underway against France-based loose forward Dominico Wanganimburotu has been cleared of the injury and will be part of the Flying Fijians team against Ireland this weekend.
Monitoring his rehab and he's progressed well, so his club cleared him today to join us, and he flew across from France today and has arrived at the hotel this evening.
This gives coach John McKee more options as he plans to field one of the strongest team against an ever-improving Irish side.
Players will be really tested under some pretty physical conditions, and we're really looking to pick the strongest team possible. They're structured.
The Vodafone Fiji Mbati says it will not change its game plan for this weekend's quarter-final against New Zealand, despite the Kiwis' shock loss to Tonga. Kiwi prop Kenny Bromwich didn't mince his words when asked what improvements were needed in his side for the game against the Fiji Mbati. Meanwhile, Papua New Guinea will hope to continue its winning run when they meet England in the quarter-final this weekend. The Kumals have qualified. 20 players marched into camp this afternoon at the Uprising Beach Resort in Pacific Harbour as the Fiji Airways national sevens team prepare for the first leg of the HSBC series, which is set to kick off in Dubai next month. Meanwhile, after the Oceania Sevens, coach Gareth Baber confirmed the few injury concerns sustained in the pre-season.
I think we're in a good space. We've had a couple of injuries over the last few weeks. Probably most notably is Sevaloni and Mesulami, who are both in their rehab at the moment. That was what I needed to do, was look at different players. You've seen 4 or 5 here today that are new, and one or two of them are taking their chances, and 1 or 2 did it in Silicon Valley as well.
Despite losing to Fiji in the final of the Oceania Sevens over the weekend, New Zealand is happy with its pre-season preparations. The All Black Sevens side were left winless last season and hope to get things back on track this season, starting with Dubai. Eroni Tuinuku reports.
It was a good learning field for the New Zealand young guns facing the giants of Rugby Sevens last weekend.
I think to take a positive from our side is that some boys got some valuable experience of what a World Series final would be like. There's definitely up there. Sure.
Despite last week's defeat, team captain Scott Curry says it was a good opportunity to test the players as a team before the World 7 Series begins.
First time we've actually played a tournament as a team, so to make it to the final and then obviously go up against a really tough Fiji side. Like I said, the boys have learnt a lot, and hopefully it'll do us well going into Dubai.
Meanwhile, Fiji Airways 7th team is focusing on blending the new players into the World 7 Series mode before the first leg kicks off in Dubai next month.
For us, as I said, there's a lot of new boys. There's a bit of communication breakdown sometimes. So, yeah, we'll work on that and we'll see for the next season.
Dubai Sevens tournament will be held from the 1st to the 3rd of next month. New Zealand is the leader of Pool D with USA, Argentina and Samoa, whereas Fiji is in Pool C with Australia, Wales and Russia. Eroni Tuinuku, FBC Sports.
The Papua New Guinea men's and women's sevens teams have successfully qualified for the World 7 Series. Despite not reaching the finals at the Oceania Sevens tournament last week, both teams were happy to have qualified for the main competition. Eroni Tuinuku again with this report.
This is the first time a team from Papua New Guinea has qualified to take part in an international tournament. The men's sevens and women's sevens team will be seen in action at the World 7 Series in Dubai next month.
It's a big achievement for us, especially, like I said, coming through the hardships we've had to face as a union. And I think it's a testament to the boys and the girls' hard work and the love of the game. Yeah.
The popular rugby league Kumuls get most of the attention in PNG, but the Sevens coach says his team is building its popularity.
It's been a tough road for the boys. If you know, we've got a bit of some issues back at home with our game, but the boys have all stuck it out on a voluntarily basis.
Team captain Henry Kalua says competition against Fiji, despite their loss, inspired his boys to play like Fijians in the upcoming tournaments.
Yeah, I think 3 weeks we prepared for that Oceania qualifier when we came here, but one thing on our boys, we don't have strength in upper body, but we have skills, speed, like same as the Fijians.
Papua New Guinea will join Australia, Fiji, New Zealand and Samoa to represent the region at the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast in April. The two teams will now compete in the World 7 Series, set to kick off in Dubai next month. Eroni Tuinuku, FBC Sports.
To international football, Italy has failed to qualify for the World Cup for the first time in 60 years after being held to a 0-0 draw at home to Sweden, who booked its place to Russia next year with a 1-0 aggregate win. The Azzurri. That's it from sports tonight. Join Angie later on with weather. And in the world of the weird and wonderful, drones are now being used in China to deliver online purchases. That's coming up.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ. मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1. इट्स सो हॉट.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे. मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफ्रिकी से. मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं. मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट. आई लव मिर्ची एफएम.
हमें स्पिन तो ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
If you're in the market looking for a brand spanking new smartphone this festive season, Huawei's high-end Mate 10 Pro phone takes portrait selfies and can do plenty more. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. Hope you had a super duper Tuesday. The weather is not in favor for some places, but hopefully all the showers ease and give us a break. Looking at the west, partly cloudy and humid, amazing day to be out and about. Eastwards from Peck Harbor to Suva, little hot with rain and thunderstorms, and there's more in store for tonight. And up north, mostly cloudy with rumbling thunderstorms. At sea, southeast winds 20 to 25 knots with rough seas. And for the tides, high tide tomorrow morning will be at 5:02 with low tide at 11:11. See the beauty of sunrise at 6:22. For tomorrow, more rain will be dumped on us and the scary thunderstorms will accompany. Tomorrow's temps, Suva and Savu Savu will be cool with highs of 29 degrees. And looking further on to Thursday, rain is looking much lighter, but it is expected to last throughout the weekend. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fiji Impulse today, we ask, can the Fiji Mbati beat New Zealand in the Rugby League World Cup quarterfinal?
FBC? Of course it will, because I think Fiji now is about time for them to win a World Cup in a league competition.
Fiji can beat New Zealand if they make a good game plan.
I know Fiji will beat New Zealand because they have the skills and we got good players.
Yes, I think Fiji can beat New Zealand in the quarterfinal.
They are getting better. From all previous World Cup. They've come up to a certain stage now that we know that they will win the quarterfinal.
Flying drones are nothing new in the skies, but online retailers have been investing in them as a way to deliver goods faster and to those in hard-to-reach rural areas. But the automation doesn't stop there. Recapping the main stories, PM says prove you're fighting climate change increasing, dengue threat, and rapist mother cops 13 years imprisonment. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, is Jerry Tuwai ready to lead the Fiji Sevens team? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day was sent by Vishal Raj. The goats making their way to the savannah. The picture was taken at Tongovere in Rakiraki. This is situated along the Queen's Highway at the foot of Nakauvandra Range. We'd like to encourage all our viewers to send in more pictures of our beautiful Fiji, whether it's our tropical flowers, stunning waterfalls, maybe a visiting cruise ship, or even your favorite pet as you've just seen with the goats. Just send them through to email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight from the team and I. Good night.
Kerondo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo tikola undo talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuya go silil tale. Nagurara may nawamanyi andonga. Gitu talita gini ang gibina sivale nagundo rongo. Barong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.